was brought to you by BEFM Busan 영어방송.
The weather is so nice today. I'm sure this won't be a big deal.
A 3-second long lapse in judgment can burn up an entire mountain, which will take 100 years to recover. We can protect these lush forests if you follow these guidelines. First, do not bring flammable materials to the mountains. Second, do not cook or camp in the mountains. Third, do not litter cigarette butts. Your small actions are the first step towards protecting the beautiful forest. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call him.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
The trend for the past several years in higher education has been focused in on medical school. For some students and their parents, it's the be-all, end-all of university admissions. Looking back on the past maybe just few years, the government quota on med school students, this has been highly controversial. And it's widely accepted that the bulk of doctors per capita are congregated in the capital area. Can we change this so that there is a better distribution of doctors to patients? And maybe another important question I'm going to throw to all of you, the waivers out there. When it comes to major illnesses, are you comfortable going to your local doctor or maybe regional university hospital? Or do you make the extra effort to go to a major Seoul area hospital? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Thursday, January 8th on BEFM 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our program, Morning Wave in Busan. So I love throwing questions at you because it's more like food for thought. And of course, I would love your opinion on this. The last one I threw to you was obviously, when it comes to loved ones, for yourself, for your family, if you have a major illness, I don't know, people around me, they still tend to, at least they tell me, oh, I made an appointment at this hospital, and it's usually one of the three major ones in the Seoul area. Anyhow, the government has restarted discussions on the medical school quota, and this is an issue that's been on the public agenda for years. The government's Public Health Policy Assessment Committee has officially presented its findings on the country's demand for doctors for the year 2024. So we're talking about 의사 수요. It is said that this rate of medical school admissions, the country will be short up to 130,000 doctors by the year 2040, a slight adjustment from its previous projection. With these numbers on the table, the committee has begun its discussions over the medical school quota for the 2027 academic year and beyond. The committee said that it will hold weekly meetings and reach a conclusion before the Lunar New Year, so that's mid-February. This number, as we have seen time and time again, is a contentious issue, one that has triggered much pushback from the medical community, including, we all remember, the walkouts Already, the Korea Medical Association, or KMA, has objected to the committee's numbers as justifications for the government's plans. But as the medical community and the government have been honing in on the figure, some point out that it should be less about how many, but how the new doctors will be used. Basically, that no matter how many more medical students and subsequently doctors are added, it won't mean much for rural areas in essential medicine if the new flow of personnel isn't distributed to these fields. According to government data, Seoul had 4.7 doctors for every 1,000 people, whereas that figure nearly halved, meaning cut in half, for Gyeongbuk, Chungcheong, Jeonnam, and Gyeongnam. And the figures get worse when it comes to essential medicine. Naturally, that number for the med school quota will be the first major decision, but that shouldn't be the final decision. And hopefully we'll see more in-depth discussions over how these new doctors will be distributed across the country and, of course, across different fields. All right, now we're going to change the topic completely. This is related to a story coming up in hour number 2. I want your elevator rules. Okay, what do I mean by that? From what floor do you take the elevator? Okay. Do you engage in small talk in elevators? And it may depend, like, is this your elevator in your apartment or is it like an elevator at a department store? But do you engage in small talk? Do you make eye contact? Do you always hold the door, like press open? Or maybe, oh no, are you the opposite? Are you pressing close? I hope not. But anyhow, or like me, I tend to kind of look up at the... If I feel uncomfortable, I look up at the little signage where it shows you what floor, you're going to. If I feel uncomfortable, I'm always looking kind of up because I feel like then I don't have to say anything to the person in the elevator, especially if it's like one-on-one. I feel more comfortable if there are children, then I might make conversation. 자, 나는 몇 층부터 엘리베이터 탄다. 오, 나만의 엘베 룰. 예를 들자면요. 엘베 안에서 아이 컨택트 안 하기 아니면 하기 이웃과 꼭 인사한다. Ooh, those kinds of rules. 여러분의 엘리베이터에서 하는 행동, etiquette, whatever it is, we want to hear all about them. You can send in your responses to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find us, and you can join in on the conversation. We have a very lively chat room. By the way, you can also reach us by text messaging us, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 101. Also, you can reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing, type in BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find our account, add us as a friend, and then you can send in your messages, photos as well. And the ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan on the radio here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. Like I said, we're streaming live right now on YouTube. You can watch, again, however many times you like. We're available on the BEFM app and the Popbang app. Both are free and easy to download. And in terms of our lineup for today, we have our daily corners. We have Jian coming in real soon. And then we have Haley in hour number 1 and 2 as well. We have Ask Dr. Liu with Dr. Liu Sang-hyo. And in hour number 2 for today, we have Cultural Interlude with Jordan Brown. Some of you may remember him. He's been on Morning Wave before, so you can look forward to that. Also, our special interview, because this is one of the hot issues around the world. The U.S., Venezuela. Yeah, that topic. How far might the U.S. go in the hemisphere, the Western hemisphere? Does this mean that we will see more of, more of a aggressive stance by the U.S. is, I guess, the best way to put it. We're going to find out with our expert in hour number 2. And something I want to mention before we get to news overview, it is actually one of our waiver's sons, by the way, Michael, who says that his son is graduating from middle school today. Oh, really? So first of all, congratulations. And unfortunately, it says he 일이 있어서 졸업식을 못 간대요. Is it work related? I'm thinking. So his son's name is Taeyang. What a beautiful name. So congratulations to Taeyang and to Michael's family. So wishing you the best for your son as well. Moving on to high school, it's a big jump. So of course, we'll be right behind you. All right. And I'll be right back with news overview. It is time for a news overview. President Lee returns from China and remarks on progress in bilateral ties. President Lee Jae-myung said that he asked Chinese President Xi Jinping to play the role of a mediator on the Korean Peninsula as he assessed a better-than-expected level of progress from the 4-day state visit. PPP leader apologizes for ex-president's martial law. The chair of the opposition People Power Party, or PPP, Chang Dong-hyuk, issued an apology yesterday for ousted former president Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law, as calls for reform have been mounting ahead of June's local elections. Government finds 21 stolen hospital and university information on hacking sites. Online security authorities have identified suspected selling of personal information stolen from 21 South Korean medical and educational organizations, as well as online shopping platforms. Police to actively investigate anti-comfort women protests. Police said they will respond strictly to various illegal acts, including defamation against victims of the Japanese military's sexual slavery victims, or so-called comfort women. U.S. seizes Russian-flagged tanker linked to Venezuelan oil. The U.S. has seized a Russian-flagged vessel in the Atlantic Ocean linked to Venezuelan oil over alleged sanctions violations. And this was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. We have Jian in the studio. Let's say hi first. Happy Thursday.
Good morning.
Yes. I want your take on the whole elevator thing or things. Do you make eye contact? Do you always say hello? What is it like for you?
I think it's a little awkward to have a small conversation in the elevators, especially in Korea.
Okay.
People would think I'm a random, like, who is she? So I prefer not to have any talks in the elevators.
Okay.
And my personal rule is that whenever I go downstairs, I always try to use the elevator to protect my knees.
Okay. But what about going up? You said
Going up, I've been using stairs as long as I don't have many stuff on my hands.
I see. Okay. So if you run into Jian in the elevator, if she doesn't say hello, it's her own personal rule. Okay. We're going to jump into our local news. Busan is moving first to open the era of the Arctic shipping route. What's the latest on this?
Busan Mayor Park Kyung-jun visited Anchorage and Nome last Monday and Tuesday local time the 5th and the 6th to take the lead in the emerging Arctic shipping route. The port of Anchorage handles about 90% of Alaska's cargo, making it a key logistics hub. The mayor inspected port operations and logistics infrastructure, exploring concrete logistics business models that could link the port of Busan with future Arctic routes. On the 6th, he traveled to Nome, a strategic city located near the Bering Strait. As a gateway to the Arctic Ocean, Nome is expected to become a mandatory stopover if Arctic shipping routes are activated.
I see. Well, what kind of discussions took place in Nome?
Mayor Park met with Nome Mayor Kenny Hughes and members of Port Commission and toured the site of a U.S. federal project to build a deep water Arctic port. During the visit, the two sides agreed to cooperate with Busan, serving as a hub for supplying, repairing, and managing vessels operating on Arctic routes. The city of Nome said it expects expanded exchanges with Asia as Arctic shipping grows, along with broader cooperation in economic, cultural, academic, and fisheries sectors.
I see. Thanks for telling us more about the Arctic shipping route. Well, next up, Busan is running its own pavilion at the world's largest tech exhibition in the United States. So what's happening there?
At CES 2026 in Los Angeles, the world's largest consumer electronics and IT exhibition, Busan is operating an expanded integrated Busan Pavilion. This year, 30 exhibition booths have been set up and the city is presenting its largest ever innovation lineup in collaboration with 6 local universities. The pavilion is showcasing next-generation flagship products from 28 innovative companies and providing structured support for their entry into global markets.
I see. And this show, by the way, a consumer electronics show, is one of a kind. So what kind of activities are participating companies and universities involved in?
Participating companies are joining business programs such as investor relations sessions and one-on-one meetings with global investors and buyers, while local universities showcase joint innovation technologies and research. 14 student supporters from Donga University provide interpretation and consultation support to help companies advance contract discussions. Notably, at CES 2026, a record 13 Busan-based companies received CES Innovation Awards and Best of Innovation honors, marking a major achievement for the city.
I see. So thanks for letting us know what's happening at the CES. Next, Busan is opening its first public integrated kindergarten for children with and without disabilities. So we need more information on this.
The Busan Metropolitan Office of Education will open Haegyeol Kindergarten this March in Gangseogu District. Serving children aged 3 to 5, it has 7 general classes and 6 special education classes, making it the city's first large-scale integrated kindergarten where children with and without disabilities share their daily routine.
I see. Well, what kind of education will students receive there?
The kindergarten focuses on inclusion, social development, and independence for children with disabilities. It provides specialized facilities, school bus services, and team teaching by general and special education teachers, offering play-based programs and equal learning opportunities for all children.
What a great program. Thank you for letting us know about this one. Next up, a site that has been off limits for more than 90 years is finally open to the public. So what is this?
The Busan Metropolitan Government announced the opening of Pomo Forest, created in the area around the Pomosa water purification plant in Kumjeonggu District. Part of Busan's 15-minute living zone initiative, Pomo Forest is a cultural space created by converting unused land, warehouses, and green areas around the long-closed purification facility. While the entire project is scheduled for completion by the end of this year, areas that were already renovated by late last year were opened first to the public with an opening ceremony held yesterday on the 7th.
Oh, so how will this space be used?
Since access had long been restricted due to the purification facilities, the surrounding forest has remained well preserved. It has now been transformed into a neighborhood hub for relaxation and a new space for community interaction. Key features include forest deck platforms, a play area with slides and climbing slopes, picnic-style rest areas with tables and benches, and an ochre soil walking path called 황토길 added in response to residents' requests.
I'm sure that's going to be very popular, the 황토길. So here's hoping that we can make use of this. Thank you for that. Now let's talk about good news about Busan's donations hitting record levels last year. It's so weird to say last year, but give us details.
In 2025,
Yes.
last year, a total of 41,849 people donated 4.207 billion won, setting a new record since the program began and ranking first among metropolitan cities.
Yes.
This is about 9.2 times higher than 458.97 million won raised in 2024.
Wow. Was there a particular reason for this big of an increase?
The city attributes much of the success to a major prize event held from October 16th to December 31st. During this period, roughly 29,000 of the donors contributed, raising around 2.96 billion won, about 70% of the year's total donations.
Okay.
The funds will be used for 6 projects, including purchasing happiness-sharing buses for social welfare centers, and will support vulnerable groups as well as initiatives in culture, arts, health, and local community development.
Oh, well, for all the people who made donations, it's such a good thing, so thank you. And, of course, we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Jian.
Thank you.
I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. Let's talk about this broken down cargo truck on Pansonglo from Seokdae intersection to Pansong direction, right before the Yeongsan-dae station. Also an accident on Cheongwan Sanupdo로 going towards Cheongwan right before Cheolma ramp. There's congestion on Dongso overpass from Hwangyong ramp to the old Gaegeum tollgate. It's backed up on Nakdong-Namno from Myeongji ramp to Cheongnam-Sa-Ogi intersection. Currently, it is minus 3 degrees Celsius under clear skies here in Busan, but the real feel is closer to minus 6 due to the wind chill factor. The daytime high will go only up to 3 degrees. Busan City is under a dry weather special report. Most of the country is seeing a drastic drop in temperatures this morning, including Busan. Some areas are seeing a drop by up to 10 degrees between yesterday and today. When you go outside, take extra care to stay warm. Roads might be icy, so please keep a safe distance with the car in front of you if you're driving. And Busan, as you know, has so many mountainous or hillside roads, so let's be extra careful. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get your take on the whole elevator etiquette or things you do or don't do.
Wheels first. If there are any modes of transport, strollers, wheelchairs, they get the right of way.
Oh, of course.
Which I've definitely seen that happen, but also sometimes not happen. So wheels first.
Okay.
And then I always do try to take the elevator when I'm going downstairs because your cartilage doesn't grow back, right? You got to protect that knee.
Okay.
Also, this is my family rule because we usually, we take the car all together and then whoever's driving will drop off the rest of the family members at the apartment entrance and then find parking. So somebody who's gone up in the first round of elevator always sends the elevator back down to, we press 1 on our way out.
That's so sweet.
And then sometimes if they don't, I'm like, where's the consideration? Like, this is, where's the family? Like,
how dare you? You forgot.
Exactly. How dare you? My goodness.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your family rules on elevator usage. We're going to jump into our top stories. President Lee Jae-myung wrapped up his 4-day state visit to China. Let's talk about the key takeaways.
Right. So the president actually had a surprise, unplanned 65-minute lunch/press briefing with the reporters who accompanied him on the trip to recap the trip and get his take. So here, for the first time on the trip, he disclosed that he had asked China, or specifically President Xi Jinping, to play a mediating role when it came to North Korea. It seems that President Lee Jae-myung spoke quite candidly to President Xi and told him that all channels of communications with North Korea, they have been blocked, and there's only hostility between the two countries.
And how did the Chinese president respond to this?
So quite positively, according to President Lee again, President Xi Jinping said that South Korea needs to be patient. Lee agreed on how South Korea had conducted hostile military action against the North for quite a long time, and that this lack of dialogue and North Korea's attitude, according to the president, was karma that had built up over the years.
Okay.
President Lee also made a pointed comment saying that some may call him pro-North Korea for such comment, but that it was cold reality to ease the hostilities.
I see. What about the matter of denuclearization?
Right, because that was one word that was very conspicuously absent from the summit between President Lee and President Xi earlier this week. However, President Lee said, of course, the two leaders discussed the nuclear weapons and denuclearization issue, but that compromises needed to be made for a way that all sides can accept on this matter.
Okay.
So in the short term regarding denuclearization, President Lee focused on his kind of trademark pragmatism, saying that North Korea will not realistically and immediately agree to giving up or getting rid of its nuclear capabilities. He did, however, add that the long-term goal is, of course, a Korean peninsula that is free of nuclear weapons.
Well, that's on North Korea. I hear that the issue of anti-Korea and anti-China sentiments were also dealt with during the visit.
Right, so this was an issue that was addressed not only with the Chinese president, but also other top-ranking officials. And we did get more behind-the-scenes comments regarding this Korea freeze or Korea boycott by China.
Okay.
President Xi apparently told President Lee Jae-myung that a large block of ice does not melt at once. So take from that metaphor what you will.
Okay.
However, a piece of fruit in time will ripen and fall off the tree. So quite a poetic way of saying that, you know, the non-existent Korea freeze will not be unfrozen all at once with like a wave of a wand or policy, but it's getting there, it seems. President Lee Jae-myung said that the most basic task in bilateral ties with China is to recover trust and overcoming these not only anti-Chinese but anti-Korea sentiments both ways. So to that end, actually, coming to a domestic matter, President Lee Jae-myung heavily criticized these anti-China sentiments that have been growing in Korea, including some conspiracy theories about election fraud and also heightened sentiments recently over the nationality of the suspect in that Kupang leak, basically saying that his nationality does not and should not matter.
I see. Well, this visit took place as tensions between Beijing and Tokyo have been growing, including Beijing's export ban against Japan.
Right, so experts have analyzed that the timing of this export ban could be an attempt to put pressure on Seoul to perhaps take a side. So, of course, not to say that President Lee Jae-myung's visit to China was the reason for that particular timing.
Right.
But the timing of the announcement did come just a day before President Lee visited the Korean Provisional Government headquarters in Shanghai. And this, of course, was the headquarters for independence fighters against Japan's colonial rule in the occupation period in the early 1900s.
Right.
The Chinese Commerce Ministry said that it is banning export of what it's calling dual-use materials that can also serve military purposes. So the Chinese ministry said that Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's previous comments on Taiwan last November was the reason for this ban.
I see.
A little bit of background. Prime Minister Takaichi said that in case of China's attack or military action on the Taiwan Strait, this would be deemed as a threat to Japan's survival, at which point Japan would have to take defensive or military measures.
I see. And we did see these signs for South Korea regarding the ongoing conflict.
Right. So during the summit on Tuesday local time, President Xi Jinping said South Korea needs to stand on the, quote, right side of history. So So that was, again, an indirect possible pressure.
Yes.
And there were also consistent reminders throughout the visit about the shared history between Korea and China, especially in their fight against Japan's colonial rule.
Okay.
Regarding this, however, President Lee said during that press luncheon yesterday that he took it without there being any loaded meaning, saying that he just thought it was a simple message to live virtuously, as Confucius said.
Okay. Well, how's Japan viewing these developments?
Right, so let's get their take. Japanese outlets have also been paying attention to this visit and the story. They've expressed concerns of China attempting to drive a wedge between South Korea and Japan, and by extension, the trilateral relationship involving the United States. So Bloomberg analyzed that China is trying to pressure Japan and also at the same time strengthen ties with South Korea.
Okay.
The report here juxtaposed these sanctions to Japan, and at the same time, President Xi Jinping taking that selfie with President Lee Jae-myung at the state dinner and how relationships are very different.
Yes, yes. Thanks for the recap on everything that happened and what was said. For our final story, we're going to go back to Venezuela, where President Donald Trump has announced plans for Venezuelan oil.
Right. So actually, we're going to cover several stories related to Venezuela. So U.S. President Donald Trump said that Venezuelan authorities will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. So President Trump wrote on his social media page that the oil will be sold at market price, that he will control the money and use it to benefit the people of Venezuela as well as the United States. So on Monday local time, the president told a media outlet that having a Venezuela that's an oil producer is good for the U.S. because it keeps the price of oil down.
Well, give us some background on Venezuelan oil.
Right. So Venezuela sits on the world's largest proven oil reserves, but because of aged infrastructure and some domestic corruption issues, its oil production has been severely low since the early 2000s.
Right.
And then also former president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, nationalized the country's oil, 석유국영화, which led to losses for American companies that had previously invested in the country's oil.
Right.
Actually, right now, only one American company, Chevron, is currently operating in Venezuela.
Ah, okay. But we also don't see oil companies rushing to invest back into Venezuela.
Because there are so many uncertainties, especially at this moment, right? So experts say that companies would need reassurances, including a stable or functioning government for one.
Sure.
And even if they did invest, returns won't be made for years. Venezuelan oil, according to industry insiders, is also heavier and therefore more difficult to refine.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, in that vein, the U.S. has seized an oil tanker in the Atlantic Ocean.
Right, so that is a major developing story as it is breaking right now. So we're seeing this as a part of a broader pattern of the U.S. seizing tankers that are linked to Venezuelan oil, but then now we're throwing in an added complication of Russia into the picture because that ship was bearing a Russian flag. So even that is being actually contested by the United States because White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she said that the ship was deemed stateless, meaning not belonging to any country because it was flying a false flag.
Oh.
Moscow, for its part, said that the ship Marinera received a temporary permission to sail under the Russian flag.
Ah. And what was the reason behind the seizure?
Right, so the Marinera, which is the name of the ship, but the U.S. is actually calling it Bella 1.
Okay.
It's been navigating in the Atlantic Ocean between Iceland and the U.K., and that's according to ship trekking data, but it was in violation of U.S. sanctions, according to the U.S. Defense Department. Reports say that the U.S. has been actually pursuing, it's been following this vessel after it refused the Coast Guard's request to board the ship. The vessel is apparently a part of what's called a shadow fleet, so a fleet of kind of secret vessels that move oil for Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. Again, that would be against U.S. sanctions.
Okay.
That particular vessel was placed under sanctions by the U.S. in 2024 over allegations that it was carrying illicit or illegal cargo for a company that was owned by Hezbollah. This, by the way, is the first known U.S. military seizure of a Russian-flagged vessel in basically recent history, and of course could likely strain relations between the two countries, and of course that's as peace talks are attempting to go on regarding the war in Ukraine.
Right. And, while all this has been going on, there is one name that we haven't really mentioned, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado.
Right. So the Venezuelan opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, she was, of course, awarded the Nobel Peace Prize last year.
Yes.
You might remember her for, of course, her work in opposition for peace, but also she had profusely thanked President Trump upon receiving that award. She has vowed to return to the country. She rejected the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, and called for fair and free elections. And also in an interview, she stated that her coalition should absolutely be in charge of Venezuela. And here again, she thanked President Trump for his leadership and courage.
But it doesn't seem that she necessarily has the Trump administration's backing.
Right. So this consistent messaging to Trump may be because of this. Because in press conferences following the operation that took out, meaning just physically took out President Maduro from Venezuela, Trump seemingly downplayed her role or even a future one. The Trump administration is currently trying to work with acting President Delcy Rodriguez, and even though there have been threats, even just the fact that they're acknowledging her presence and her as the acting president, it is a recognition that this is the official government that the U.S. will work with.
Okay.
Again, going back to President Trump's comments, when he was asked, he stated that his administration hadn't been in contact with Maria Machado, and that although she is, a direct quote, a very nice woman, she doesn't have the respect in the country needed to become the leader. Much of the Venezuelan opposition has had to flee the country because of the crackdown. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described Machado as fantastic. However, he added that the immediate reality is that the vast majority of the opposition is no longer present. And currently, the Trump administration's priority isn't elections, but it's U.S. interest.
Well, we're going to call it a wrap on all the top stories for hour number 1. So thank you for reporting. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
We are due for a song break on this Thursday morning. How about this one? Sidam Sidam by 10cm.
알고 있지 오늘따라 그대가 왜 이러는지 얼굴은 빨개지고 눈빛도 이상하고 집에 안 가고 가만히 있어 오늘 같은 밤을 내내 기다렸어 두박한 내 두 손에 몸을 맡겨줘야 할 게 있어요 스탐 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 따담 해볼까요 투닥 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 따닥 디다리디도 해드릴까요 쓸데없던 나의 손이 이런 용도일 줄이야 외로워 미칠 때마다 불러줘요 빰 빠밤 빠밤 빠바바 빰 빠바바밤 빠바바밤 빠밤 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 빠바바밤 빠밤 빠밤 빠바바 빠바바밤 빠바바밤 빠밤 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 맙소사 그대 나의 귓가에 들리는 목소리 난 다 알았어요 TV를 보든 식사 중이든 운전 중이든 언제라도 땀 해볼까요? 투닥투닥투닥투닥 따닥 디다리디도 해드릴까요? 쓸데없던 나의 손이 이런 용도일 줄이야 외로워 미칠 때마다 불러줘요 스tam스tam스tam스tam스tam스tam스tam스tam스tam 따담 해볼까요? 투닥투닥투닥투닥 따닥 디다리디도 해드릴까요?
It is time for Ask Dr. Liu. Guess who's here? Dr. Liu.
Hi, good morning. Am I here?
Yes,
really?
you are.
In the studio?
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It feels like I'm dreaming.
Oh, why? Why?
Because it's like heaven in the studio.
Really?
I'm so rejuvenated.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Okay.
All right. So, real quick.
Yes.
You know when you get on the elevator, do you have certain rules?
Yes.
Like, do you always say hello or do you try not to make eye contact? Do you keep to yourself? What do you do in the elevator?
I try to say hello, everybody. But my greeting often be turned down.
Oh.
So that's why I just looking at the bottom when I'm on elevator. And then if somebody says hi, and then I open my eyes like, greeting, welcome, hello.
Really? Like that?
Yeah. Other than that,
I always look at the pono where the elevator is like going up or down because sometimes it's awkward and like you don't know what to do. So I'm always looking at the digits that going up or down.
Yeah, you know what?
Floors.
Speaking of elevator,
Yes.
a few months ago I had a patient who she is in her mid 70s, and then she had mild dementia and chronic back pain.
Oh.
And then she, and as we get older, our body aches all over. Back pain, knee joint problem, and then she lives with her daughter on an apartment building on the 7th floor.
Okay.
But the building is quite old, so the elevator was under renovation. So for a month, every time she went out, she had to walk up in 7th floor. And then something remarkable happened.
What
Her
happened?
memory improved. Her back pain became much better.
Really?
And walking became much stable and then confident.
Okay.
How
so,
powerful exercise can be.
Right. Just, and you might think, okay, 7 flights for a normal person is not much, but for an older person,
Yeah.
that's like activity, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what are we talking about today?
So today I'm going to talk about exercise.
Okay. What a perfect segue, a
Yeah.
perfect link, right? Okay. So exercise. What in particular are we going to talk about?
Oh, you know what? There's a scientific journal, physical and what's it called? Health and Physical Activity Journal.
Okay.
They delivers a guideline
Oh,
when it comes to physical activity.
sure.
So it's called precision physical activity.
Precision physical activity. What is this exactly?
Okay, in the past, we were told 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week was the gold standard.
Okay.
Which is about 20 or 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day. But paper argues that it's a bit outdated. We're seeing a shift towards genomic-informed prescription.
That sounds so fancy.
Yeah.
What is genomic informed prescriptions? What is this?
It's like there's no more one size fits all when it comes to physical activity. So in this study, scientists explain that while everyone should do both like cardio and resistance exercise, but our body often favor one over the other due to our muscle composition, muscle fiber composition.
Okay.
It's a neuro exam used to study a lot about this stuff. Our muscle consists of two different types.
Okay.
So muscle type 1 is responsible for slow but very resilient muscle fiber. So those with this kind of a muscle dominant people, they are like a marathon runner. They are efficient at using oxygen and go for a long time without getting tired. So those with this type of dominant people can walk or jog for more than an hour and easily, and then they feel rejuvenated. But their life, they have a hard time struggling with lifting a heavy box once. But on the other hand, type 2 muscle dominant people, they are like a sprinter. You know, they provide big muscle bursts of power, but tired easily quickly. So think of it this way. There's a bodybuilder who is very kind of a muscle buildup, bulk muscle.
They're very buff.
But they're not gonna throw the pitch baseball as some skinny baseball pitcher.
Okay. I get the analogy. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why when we look at this two types of muscle fiber, you have to figure out which type of muscles you are carrying in your gene. That's called precision physical activity is.
Okay, so we have to know whether we're type 1 or type 2 kind, generally speaking, in terms of our what type of muscles
exactly
we have. Okay. So, I don't know, like, how can we know if we're more cardio prone or, you know, we're better fit for, like, you know, our body genetically, we're fit for, like, I guess, weightlifting or...
Yeah, it's pretty simple. A simple way to check it is to look at your natural energy. Do you feel better after a long or slow walk by Suyeonggang or Haeundae Beach?
Okay.
Or do you feel more alive after a short or heavy session of lifting or fast sprint?
What about you? Because for me, I prefer the slower, longer duration. That's me, though. I can go longer, but I can't do the short sprints.
Yeah, I think I'm the same because I'm just in the middle because everybody's composition is different. You need individualization.
Right.
So in that case, you got to do both. So scientists are saying that if you're a cardio person, you gotta do some resistance, but what matters is precision. So if you're a cardio type, the precision plan should be 70% of cardio and 30% of resistance. And if you're a power type, the other way around.
Okay, so you can just flip it.
Yes, right.
So I guess for our waivers out there, first we might want to listen to our body. That's important, right? To know what we might be naturally. As of like jogging kind of makes you feel like a zombie, but like going to the gym and lifting weight makes you feel really, really good. I guess go that route.
Yeah, that's
Whatever
right.
fits you genetically. Okay. So how do we do this? Like, because in terms of like New Year's resolutions, one of the top resolutions every year is what? To get healthy, to slim down, or to be active, you know, exercise more. I think those are like very interconnected, right?
That's right.
So 이 작심삼일을 어떻게 넘길 수 있을까요?
Okay. As a neurologist,
Yes.
I'm going to give you very useful tips to overcome this 3-day resolution.
Okay.
Okay, let's be honest. Most people are not good at setting goals, but it's not their fault because we never taught how to do it properly.
Okay.
So as a neurologist, I'm going to give you some practical tips.
Here we go.
First one, clearly describe the ideal and perfect outcome with vivid details and measurable elements. Write them out so you know exactly when you arrived.
Okay.
Think of this like setting a destination on your GPS in a car. So it's the address of your goal, and without an address, you're just driving around
Aimlessly.
aimlessly.
Yes.
And second, write out the least desirable outcome. if nothing happens, nothing changes.
Okay.
If you keep doing exactly what you've been doing so far and describe the vivid detail where you will end up if your habits and behaviors, mindsets and worldview stay the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Write down the future, the least favorable one. Okay, our brain needs contrast. The dreams versus the nightmares.
Okay, that makes sense so far.
Yeah.
Anything else we should do? So you said, just, write down the perfect ideal outcome versus the opposite.
Yeah, this is the opposite. This is a really important one. Write down the new habits and milestones, and then make your goal as a byproduct of these new traits.
The new habits that you are trying to form.
Yeah.
Yes.
For instance, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Instead of asking, how do I achieve this goal, I wanted to ask this question. How can I live in a way that makes this goal a natural byproduct or natural outcome?
Okay.
Yeah. For instance, it's my. Let me give you my example. This year's goal is getting fit. Get fit. Don't just focus on weight or numbers.
Okay.
I would say I'm the father of my beloved son and beloved husband and wife. If I want to support them and make them happy, I need to be really healthy, which means eating healthy and doing healthy stuff. In that case, getting fit becomes a byproduct of living a healthy life.
Okay.
And another example is English. I never signed up for any TOEFL or an English proficiency test in my life. So I decided, when I was 30, I simply wanted to enjoy American movies and dramas as much as the native speakers do. So as a result, I'm here in a studio and speaking English, even though I've never been abroad to study English. So instead of asking yourself, why do I want, you got to ask this one. Instead of, I want to get this point on this TOEFL test.
Yes.
Rather, I want you to ask yourself, why do I want this goal? And then how can I make this goal a byproduct of this reason? Okay, don't focus on the goal itself.
Okay.
And then focus on your habits. And the fourth one is write down your current habits that you really want to get rid of.
Oh, I'm sure there are many lists out there. People are writing down things. I don't want to do this. Let me stop doing this. Yes.
Yeah, because we love contrast.
Yes.
Yeah. And the fifth one is human beings are very intuitive and very prefer things to be very simple. So I use my AI to visualize my future.
Ooh.
So if you want to quit smoking, I'm going to give you my picture of me in 30 or 40 years.
Yes.
So one is that ask ChatGPT, have them draw two pictures. One at your 80 or 70 or 80 after smoking like chimneys for decades. And the another one of you at the same age after maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Oh.
Ta-da! You can see the comparison.
So on the left, if you're checking out our YouTube page right now, on the left is if you have led a healthy lifestyle where you seem a little older than you are now, obviously. However, gracefully aging. Aging gracefully.
But on the right side.
On the right side, because I'm just describing for our non-YouTube viewers, of our radio listeners, someone who is more haggard, older looking, more wrinkles are visible. Like you can see the physical differences.
That's right.
Okay.
So human brains, you usually tend to have some kind of a immediate gratification.
Yes.
But we have to look further away from that kind of a immediate gratification.
Yes.
So it might give you some kind of motivation how to change your habits.
Well, I mean, those photos were so stark. I think that this is a great opportunity for people who have maybe made their New Year's resolutions, whatever it may be, health related or not, but to give them an opportunity to refine, retune.
That's right.
And maybe get the ball rolling. These were really useful tips. I am absolutely going to try this.
Yeah.
All these 5 steps and hopefully anything else you want to add before I let you go? Any last tips?
Last tip, human beings are social animals.
Yes.
So share your daily milestones with your people you trust and stay connected.
Yes.
You know, don't please get rid of your shameful habits because everybody is not perfect.
True.
Okay, so keep them. Don't keep them locked inside. And then before I go, I want to say this one: we are what we do. We are what we eat. And what matters is not where you're at.
Yes.
What matters is where you're heading for.
Ah, I like that. And then you know the whole idea of like the 작심삼일 우리 PD님이 이런데 3일마다 계속 하면 결국 1년간
That's
하는
right.
거 아닌가요?
Oh, well said. That's the point.
I like it. Mini goals. Getting
Yeah.
to the third day and then reset. Starting again.
Okay. I'm gonna do it from now for the next 3 days. And
Yes.
then after 3 days. And then I'm going to do it for the next 3 days.
But hey,
Keep at
at
it.
least that's better than not having any type of goal and just...
Exactly, right.
Okay. Well, I feel like this was such a useful segment for our listeners. Many people are chiming in saying thank you, that you've given us great tips. So thank you. And of course, we'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. It is now time to wrap up hour number 1. So how about this one? Steal the Show by Love. I'll be back at 8.
Started out on a one-way train. Always knew where I was gonna go next. Didn't know until I saw your face. I was missing out on every moment. You'll be one and baby, I'll be two. Would you mind it if I said I'm into you? So if it's real, then darling, let me know. I wouldn't mind if you steal the show. Together, you're the sky, I'll be the weather. A pretty thing, the sun and rain. Oh no, oh yeah. Summer night, perfect occasion. Where am I? You know I'll be waiting for you, for you. So if it's real, then darling, let me know. I wouldn't mind if you steal the show. So if it's real, then darling, let me know. I wouldn't mind if you steal the show. Shine, you shine like forever. I forever. You shine and still show. So if it's real, then darling, let me know. I wouldn't mind if you still show.
I almost got hit.
Here comes the safety hero. Stop right there, Smombi. Put your phone away. Keep your head up. Look around.
What was I doing? Thank you. I'm finally free from being a Smombi.
As you just heard, even a quick text could lead to a serious accident. This kind of behavior has a name, Smombi, a word created by combining smartphone and zombie.
Walk with your head up and check your surroundings before you move. Let's build a safer traffic culture and keep our streets free from Smombies. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
Hello, BFM listeners. Happy New Year. 2026 has begun. 2026 is the year of the Red Horse. The Red Horse stands for passion and energy. We hope this year brings you new challenges and positive changes. Just like always, BEFM will be here in 2026, bringing you better and more diverse programs and staying with you from the start of your day to the end. We wish you a happy new year and hope you tune into BEFM all year long. Once again, Happy New Year!
지역 경제가 힘차게 출발합니다. 기업들이 고객을 향해 더 빨리 가려면 방송 광고라는 엑셀을 밟으세요. 경제도 기업도 더 힘차게 달려가니까요. 방송 광고의 작은 힘, 경제의 큰 힘입니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. It's 8 o'clock. This is Spotlight News. President Lee returns from China and remarks on progress in bilateral ties. President Lee Jae-myung said that he asked Chinese President Xi Jinping to play the role of a mediator on the Korean Peninsula as he assessed a better-than-expected level of progress from the 4-day state visit. During a luncheon with reporters yesterday, Lee recounted that he explained to Xi that all channels between the two Koreas have been blocked during their summit earlier this week. He said that President Xi agreed with the idea and noted Seoul's efforts. He also visited the Korean Provisional Government headquarters in Shanghai and attended its 100th anniversary ceremony, remarking that the fight for independence by Korea and China will be the root of solidarity for the two countries. PPP leader apologizes for ex-president's martial law. The chair of the opposition People Power Party, or PPP, Jang Dong-hyuk, issued an apology yesterday for ousted former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law, as calls for reform have been mounting ahead of June's local elections. Jang, in a press conference at the PPP headquarters, said that the martial law declaration was a wrong and inappropriate response to the situation that caused major confusion to the public and caused pain to the party. The PPP also unveiled a set of reform measures as a part of an effort to address a growing leadership crisis within the party amid calls for the party to distance itself from the former president. Government finds 21 stolen hospital and university information on hacking sites. Online security authorities have identified suspected selling of personal information stolen from 21 South Korean medical and educational organizations, as well as online shopping platforms. Personal information, including website IDs, usernames, email addresses, and passwords, are believed to have been compromised from a range of organizations and companies, including universities and plastic surgery clinics. The Science Ministry said it has notified the affected entities and added the authorities will continue monitoring the illegal circulation of stolen data online. police to actively investigate anti-comfort women protests. Police said they will respond strictly to various illegal acts, including defamation against victims of the Japanese military's sexual slavery victims, euphemistically called comfort women. The Korean National Police Agency pointed out that some hard-right conservative civic groups have been going around to different Peace Girl statues and disseminating distorted facts or hatred against the victims online. The police also plan to step up patrols around statues installed nationwide to prevent illegal acts and to restrict or ban rallies and protests near schools that infringe on students' right to learn. U.S. seizes Russian-flagged tanker linked to Venezuelan oil. The U.S. has seized a Russian-flagged vessel in the Atlantic Ocean linked to Venezuelan oil over alleged sanctions violations. The high-stakes confrontation went on for 2 weeks over the Marinera, which the U.S. is calling Bella 1. The U.S. says that the ship's crew will be brought to the U.S. for prosecution if necessary, as Russia said that the U.S. must not hamper their return. The U.S. Coast Guard said on Wednesday local time that it had separately intercepted another tanker that is under sanctions, the M. Sophia, in the Caribbean. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for a special interview. A day after this audacious U.S. military operation in Venezuela, U.S. President Donald Trump renewed calls for an American takeover of Greenland, threatened military action on Colombia, and said Cuba is, in quotes, in a lot of trouble. With Mexico, Colombia, Cuba, and Greenland in the spotlight, these statements signal a more aggressive U.S. stance in the Western Hemisphere. They raise questions about how far the United States may go and the potential impacts on allies, regional stability, and international law. Joining us for the new year is Professor William Muck, and chair of the Political Science Department, coordinator for the college's Global Studies program, and co-host of the podcast, The Politics Lab. Hi, welcome back, Professor. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Always so good to be here with you.
Thank you. You know, after the operation that removed Nicolas Maduro, President Trump quickly issued warnings toward Greenland, I listed them up, Cuba, Mexico, Colombia. How should we be unfolding this? Is this part of like a bigger strategy or just a series of bold statements?
Well, Trump is prone to bold statements. He likes to say controversial things and draw attention to him and have those conversations. But I think this is more than that, especially when you look at not just what he said, but also what they've done as we think about Venezuela, but more specifically what they've written in their recent national security strategy. So they laid out this sort of approach in that document itself. And his closest aide, Stephen Miller, has come out and talked about that we are entering an era when the United States is going to embrace power politics. It is going to shape the world. It is going to focus specifically on the Western Hemisphere, and we should anticipate more excursions or adventures of power like this. So I think what they are envisioning is more operations like this. Now, whether they actually follow through with them is another question, but I think at this moment in time, especially after the success of the Venezuelan one, they are certainly thinking about who's next. And again, that is such a dramatic shift from how the United States has conducted foreign policy since World War II.
Indeed. And Trump has referenced the Monroe Doctrine and also the Roosevelt Corollary to justify a stronger role in the Western Hemisphere. So could you explain what these ideologies, what these mean to our listeners here in Korea and beyond, and whether they're still relevant today?
Yeah, they haven't been relevant for years, right? You would read about the Monroe Doctrine in a textbook, but no president would actually embrace this doctrine. So the Monroe Doctrine is 1823. This was the idea that the United States wanted to prevent any European powers from coming into the Western Hemisphere. And so basically the United States declared the Western Hemisphere off, that it was its own essential territory. And then Roosevelt comes along in 1904 and says, we want to go beyond that. And they added the Roosevelt Corollary, which basically allowed the United States States or justified the United States intervening throughout Central and Southern America. So this was a very activist, very interventionist, very controversial period of U.S. foreign policy. Most of those countries in Latin America very much reject what happened then. It's very much in violation of international law as well. But the Trump administration is leaning back into this to say this was the heyday of U.S. foreign policy, and we want to go back to that type of foreign policy. Again, very inconsistent with international law, very inconsistent with how the United States has done things. But this is their framework for approaching the world.
I see. And, I'm sure countries in Latin America, nervous, but Greenland, part of Denmark, Denmark, NATO ally. From a political and legal standpoint, though, how realistic is it that the U.S. could really take control of Greenland? Because the U.S. has been very open under the Trump administration about wanting to annex or add Greenland to the United States.
Yeah, legally, it's completely in violation of international law, unless Greenland would decide they wanted to join the United States. But the polling is overwhelming. 95% of those living in Greenland and Denmark say they want nothing to do with joining the United States. So legally, clearly in violation of international law. The other question is sort of the strategic interest. So the Trump administration is arguing that they need Greenland to protect the United States. So there's a strategic interest. But the reality is that Greenland and Denmark have said, we are open to the United States military presence. The United States already has a base there. Greenland has said we're open to more of a presence there. So all of those national security interests could be addressed with the current policy. I tend to think that what Trump really wants is he wants to be able to extend the territory of the United States, right? He wants to say in his presidency, he added land. So I think there's more going on than just purely national security interests here.
Yes. And what do these statements that have been made recently by the Trump administration, by his aides, etc., mean for U.S. relations with its neighbors and allies in this region? I mean, we're talking about Mexico, Colombia, and beyond. Have we heard back? Is there pushback already?
Well, we're seeing both a public and a private pushback, right? Publicly, they're saying that we're uncomfortable with this, but I think behind the scenes, that's where they're really, really concerned, because this is, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a throwback to an era when the United States intervened freely within these Central and Southern American countries. And I think there's a lot of concern and caution that the United States is once again going to become the Colossus of the North, right? Where it was intervening in these countries' internal politics. So I think there's a lot of concern. In particular, in Mexico, we saw the president of Mexico come out and criticize this action. We've seen Colombia push back. Now, you also don't want to draw the attention of Donald Trump. So there's a difficult balance here between criticizing the policy but not drawing the ire of President Trump. And we're seeing the same thing out of Europe right now, where they're critical, but they're also careful. They don't want to be targeted by the president on social media.
Right. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Cuba is, quote unquote, in a lot of trouble following Maduro's removal. Based on what we know, how vulnerable is Cuba to increased U.S. pressure right now?
I think we might see increased economic pressure, but I think it's very unlikely that the Trump administration is going to continue this type of practice going after heads of state. In some ways, they got really lucky that nothing went wrong with this operation, and that there has been relative stability in Venezuela. That's not usually the case. When you look back at interventions, they usually tend to be very messy. There's lots of chaos, insurgency. So, powerful states tend to stay away from these because they're so complicated. So I'm guessing we're going to see more increased rhetoric against Cuba, maybe some economic policies, but I would be really shocked if we see another military operation in Cuba anytime soon.
Right. And taking a look at Colombia, it seems that Trump has singled out Colombia, accusing its government of involvement in cocaine production, and obviously with Maduro in its arraignment, connections to drugs as well. How serious is this threat, and what could it mean for U.S.-Colombia relations?
It's not good for those relations. And let's also think about, I think there's an important difference between Cuba, which is not a democracy, and Colombia, which is, right? And so what we're seeing here is the Trump administration is threatening countries and suggesting that their head of state may not be around very long to a democratically elected process, right? I think that's really, really extraordinary. Now, it's not the first time that the United States has tried to undermine democracy around the world, but historically we've done that quietly, covertly, behind the scenes. The Trump administration is doing all of this out in the open. Again, again, really, really extraordinary, very, very troubling for somebody who believes in the rules-based international order that emerged out of World War II, and who believes that that's actually in the U.S. interest to create a system where everybody works within a certain parameters of rules. But the Trump administration rejects that, and they say power is the only currency that matters today.
I see. And taking a step back to look at this, all of this from a step back, if the U.S. continues down this path with this assertive or very aggressive approach, what might be the long-term consequences for stability and also just basically U.S. influence in the Western Hemisphere?
I think we're looking at a fundamental shift in how international politics operates. The old system was really based on globalization, economic interdependence, trade, alliances. Now what we're seeing is the Trump administration is making an argument for power and spheres of influence. And the Trump administration is saying, hey, the Western hemisphere is our hemisphere, and China, that you're in Asia, and Russia if you want to operate in Europe. But it's suggesting that the United States does not want to play the same type of global role it has in the aftermath of World War II, where the United States said, we have an interest everywhere. We have an interest in democracy. We have an interest in human rights. We're not hearing any of that out of the Trump administration. It's really thinking about economic interest, lots of talk about oil, very little criticism of authoritarian regimes. So I think we're really talking about upending the way in which international politics has been conducted for 80 some years. So it's extraordinary, and I think it's also it's very terrifying as we start to think about the ripple effect of these changes.
Yes. Well, that was a lot to unfold, but thank you so much for going over everything that happened with the U.S. military operation in Venezuela and maybe the future ramifications as well. Take care, and wishing you once again a Happy New Year. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was Professor William Muck, and we talked about the U.S. influence in the Western Hemisphere for a special interview. That was a lot to unfold, but I certainly hope that this was helpful in maybe helping you understand the situation better. All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Let's get to your traffic update. First up, it is busy from Mandok intersection to the Namhae Expressway Tukton ramp right now. It's congested on Luno Samsung-daedo from Myeongji underpass to Shinho Bridge. There is traffic building on Gwangan Bridge, that top portion of the bridge. Also looking slow on Byeonglo from Wondong Ramp to Suyeong Tunnel. It is currently -3, but because of the wind chill factor, it feels more like -6 degrees here in Busan. It's going to go up to 3 degrees Celsius. Busan City is under a dry weather special report. Most of the country is experiencing a drastic drop in temperatures this morning, including obviously Busan. Some areas are seeing a drop by up to 10 degrees between yesterday and today. So when you go outside, take extra care to stay warm. The roads might be icy, so please keep a safe distance with the car in front of you if you're driving. And here in Busan, as you know, it is mountainous, it is hilly, so let's be extra careful. This was your traffic and weather. This is Sing by Ed Sheeran.
It's late in the evening, glass on the side. I've been sad with you for most of the night, ignoring everybody here. We wish they would disappear, so maybe we could get down now. I don't wanna know if you're getting ahead of the program. I want you to be my lady, to hold your body close. Take another step into the no man's land. For the longest time, lady, I need falling, won't you let me know? Oh, oh, oh. Sing.
Love is ablaze, I saw flames from the side of the stage, and the fire brigade comes in a couple of days. Until then we got nothing to say and nothing to know, but something to drink and maybe something to smoke. Let it go until our roads are changed, singing we found love in a local rave. No, I don't really know what I'm supposed to say, but I can just figure it out, then hope and pray. I told her my name and said it's nice to meet you, then she handed me a bottle of water filled with tequila. I already know she's a keeper, just from this one small act of kindness I'm in deep. If anybody finds out, I meant to drive home, but I drunk all of it now. Not sobering up, we just sit on the couch, one thing led to another, now just kissing my mouth.
I need you, darling, come and set the tone. If you feel you're falling, won't you let me know? Oh, oh, oh. If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe. Oh, oh, oh.
And you don't even wanna know. Can you feel it? All that I can hear is music from the back. Well, can you feel it?
I need you, darling, come and set the tone. If you feel you're falling, won't you let me know?
It's time for Waglwagle Tea Time with Haley. She's back in the studio.
Hello.
Welcome back. All right, we're going to jump into this story. Not a happy-go-lucky story. It's about the state of well-being for the country's teens.
Right. And before we do this, all the shout-out, happy graduation day to the kiddos who are graduating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we cover these stories hoping to make things slightly better for you.
Right.
Because right now, you know, what's the tip to happiness? Eating well, sleeping well. That sleeping part definitely could use some improvement. So the short picture, half of the country's high school students are barely getting 6 hours of sleep per night because, well, they're studying.
Yes.
So this is according to a survey by the National Youth Policy Institute, the NYPI, over 2,258 high school students nationwide. So 46.7% said that they're sleeping under 6 hours per day. Almost 30% between 5 and 6 hours. And there was only about 30% were saying they're getting about 6 to 7 hours. By the way, by comparison, 7 hours seems decent. However, let's note that the recommended sleep for teenagers at that age, 8 hours, which only 5.5% of the country's teens were getting.
Wow. Okay, so we don't need to wonder what is keeping them from getting some sleep, but obviously.
You're a mom.
Yes.
I had a high school kid at home. Obviously.
You meant like your sister.
Oh, my sister. Okay. Right. Sorry. There was a child.
Younger sister.
Not mine. Yes.
Okay.
Studying.
Yes.
Academics. But what type of studying, say you? A quarter of them were studying at home late into night, whether that be homework or online classes. 19% were physically outside academies or private tutoring. 13% were at school, that yaza, right? The late night study sessions. And I do have to start this section with a trigger warning.
Okay.
Because lack of sleep, the academic pressure has serious effects on their mental health. So this is a shocking statistic. 30.5% of high school students surveyed. And we're talking about in Korea what we call 일반고, which is an academic high school as opposed to a vocational high school.
Right.
30.5% said they've had thoughts of suicide.
Wow.
Let's let that sink in. It's almost a third.
Wow.
46% of those who said that they've had suicide ideation, their academics, their studies were the reason. And the pressure was evident because if we look at the vocational schools, students had relatively less academic pressure here, and they showed a 23% rate of suicide ideation, which is 6 points lower. So that is not insignificant.
Right.
And one in five students from these regular high schools, quote unquote, said they weren't happy. And over 38% said they've thought about quitting school.
Ah, right. And anecdotally, I've heard about students really, checking out of high school, literally giving up on their high school studies because of the stress.
Right. Some are burnout, but then we also have those who are giving up on high school to study more. So
indeed. And then perhaps, somewhat related to all of this is maybe social media.
Right. So overall, talking about teenage well-being again, social media has been well known to be linked to teen depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues.
Right.
So teenagers in South Korea, on average, are watching over 3 hours of online video content every day, especially in the form of short-form content. So yes, it is studying, but also this keeping them from sleeping.
Yes.
This is a Korea Gallup poll by Korea Press Foundation across over 2,600 students in 4th grade through 12th grade, so high school 3rd year.
Okay.
95% said they've watched online video platforms in the past week. Average daily time, 3.3 hours.
Wow.
Middle school students, it was the highest at 233 minutes. High school dropped down slightly to 226 minutes. Elementary school, even they were watching 143 minutes. That is over 2 hours and 20 minutes per day.
I'm curious. What kind of contents are they watching?
Games.
Games.
Which neither of us game, so that might be just our personal bias, but kids do. So game-related contents, 64%. Multiple responses were allowed.
Okay.
K-pop and other pop music, performance, and dances, 50%. Cooking or mukbang was also 40%. The most common apps were Instagram and YouTube. TikTok doesn't really have a presence in South Korea, as only 8% of students said they were on TikTok.
Right.
Instagram was definitely the most popular app among teens at 87% usage rate.
Right.
And 30% said they've also had experience being on the other side of the camera, filming and uploading their own contents on social media.
I see. So that's a snapshot of our teenagers. Thank you for this. Let's move on. We talked about our unspoken elevator rules, but this person actually wrote down their rules and is trying to enforce them, really?
Right. And I want to get your take. How about smells in the elevator?
Like,
what
kind of smells?
It could be perfume. It could be
the heavy perfume.
Bodily functions. I don't know. People have them.
The gas.
And then it could be smoke.
Not smoking in the elevator.
No, but lingering smoke. Yeah. So of course there are no smokers in the elevator, but there is no smoking rather.
Yes.
However, this person's rule, smokers shouldn't get on the elevator, is what they were implying. So picture this. You step into an elevator and there's that lingering waft of that cigarette smoke. And you're like, ugh. And it's worse on rainy days. It's not pleasant for sure, but it might be a part of communal living. Well, not for that person. So there's an online community post of this picture floating around, piece of paper on an elevator wall. It says, for those who smoke and then get on the elevator.
Yes.
담배 피시고 엘베 타고 올라가시는 분들께. I can't breathe because of that disgusting cigarette smell. I want to throw up. Please save me. 살려주세요. 제발.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are some strong words.
Those are.
Yes. And I'm sure there are opinions.
And there was a fight that I was watching online in that apartment online, the community chat, because that was posted on the apartment community. One person, presumably a smoker, said, well, then do you want us to smoke inside our homes? How is that any of your business? And he or she even asked for this person's unit number. So, I mean, that's No. But others are saying if you are a smoker, you should be more considerate. And this was very strongly worded. Their words, if you want to, quote, kill yourself, do that to yourself, but not to others.
Meaning
secondhand smoke.
Yeah, okay.
Online comments, also the fights continued. The smell is, yes, unpleasant. Smokers should be considerate of non-smokers. Elevators are shared spaces. But then again, it seems excessive to take up issue with those who are smoking outside. And yeah.
I mean,
thoughts?
At least they're smoking outside.
Well, yes.
And not in, like, let's say, the hallway or, the stairwell. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, that's the bare minimum.
Yes.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least they're going outside.
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to,
I get it. It's unpleasant. But then it's also unpleasant when I've just worked out and somebody had ordered chicken. And I'm like, by the way, it's a weird life skill that's useless. I can usually pinpoint what brand it was.
Oh.
Yeah. How's that serving me? It's not. But, again, communal living, whether that be chicken, pizza, or cigarettes.
Right.
What you gonna do?
Right, one of our listeners saying, no flatulence in the elevator. Yeah, we don't like that. Enclosed space. All right, let's move on. The Oxford English Dictionary, I can't do a British accent, so has added another set. I don't know, it was like a 10% attempt. Oxford. Okay, so it's added another set of Korean words to its. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, to its official list. So, what is it? What are they?
I'm tearing up. I can't see my script. All right. According to Professor Tien Kier at the Oxford University or Oxford English Dictionary, she's the Korean consultant for the OED.
Yes.
8 new Korean words have been added onto the dictionary.
Okay, so
Ramen.
Oh. Is it not in there already?
Well, no, the spelling is really important because it is not Ramen, it's Ramyeon.
Distinctly Korean.
Distinctly Korean. So that is important. 해녀, the female free divers.
Okay.
선배. Interestingly, not 후배.
But 선배?
I think because colloquially we do, it's not just like a name that you...
Right.
It's how you address people.
Yes.
But you wouldn't address someone younger like 후배야. But we would say, 선배.
Right.
So
they
that's
call you
more
by your name if
common.
you're a 후배.
Right.
Right.
빙수.
Ooh.
찜질방. 아줌마. And office style.
Oh,
which means we can maybe finally start using just office style as office style.
Yeah,
we usually have to
explain what it is.
But yeah, office style, look it up.
Yes,
so this marks the second year in a row that Korean words have been added to the Oxford English Dictionary. Last year, 7 words. That includes 달고나 and 떡볶이. That's a delicious list.
So how are these entries added?
Right. So of course, Korean words are not the only words that are added to the OED. Language is always evolving. So this reflects that change. So Professor Kier said that she's been trying to actually add 해녀 since a couple years ago.
Okay.
However, there was a lack of research material in English. But K-dramas. Because of a recent K-drama series where 해녀 was a job based in Jeju, there was an increased awareness that prompted more discussions in the English language.
Yes.
And that inclusion of things like 찜질방 and 빙수 also shows a growing interest in K-culture.
Love it. All right, we're going to end on a cute note. Oh, yay. South Korea might get another panda from China. Woohoo!
Ooh, so another round of panda diplomacy might be underway. So this goes back to President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to China and his summit with President Xi Jinping.
Aww.
During the summit, they agreed to discuss the potential release of additional pandas to Korea.
Yes.
So following this, Environment Minister Kim Sung-hwan met with Chinese National Forestry and Grasslands Administration head Ryu Guo-hong, and Beijing said the two sides reflected on the achievement of the two countries' panda cooperation and agreed to deepen cooperation in the future.
Oh, and panda loans, this is like official business though.
It is very official business and it is a form of soft power diplomacy by China.
Yes.
The last loan, because they're only loaned from China, were Aibao and Labao. They came to Korea as a result of a joint summit from all the way back in 2014 when President Xi Jinping visited Korea. Fubao. We know her. the baby from the pair. She was sent back to China 2 years ago. Huge public event.
Yes.
But then Ai Bao had a set of twins,
Right.
Louis and Hui Bao, and the family of 4 are currently living in Everland.
That's right. So we're going to end it on that note. So cute. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. We are due for a song break, and this is very fitting. It's a song request from Benny. This is Elevator by JYP.
서로에게서 도저히 눈을 떼지 못해 우린 느꼈어 새로운 사랑 시작을 우린 느꼈어 이 설레임 이 두근거림 너무나 오랜만에 느껴보는 이 느낌 하지만 더 기쁜 건 더 중요한 건 그녀도 분명히 느끼고 있는 것 같다는 것 그녀도 분명히 내게 반한 것 같다는 것 이제 외롭은 날들이 끝인 걸 그래서 우린 나갔어 헤어지기가 아쉬워서 저녁 식사라고 하려는데 그녀가 먼저
제가 저녁 사드릴게요
시간이 가는 줄도 밤이 깊어가는 줄도 모르고 수없이 많은 얘기를 나눴고 서로의 마음속에 사랑이 싹트며 서로의 눈을 지그시 바라보며 식당 문을 열고 집으로 가기 위해 엘리베이터를 탔는데 엘리베이터 안에서 우리 사랑을 나누지 그 누구도 모르게 비밀스러운 사랑을 엘리베이터 안에서 우리 사랑을 나누지 지하에서 위층까지 벨이 울릴 때까지
여보세요?
예, 저 진영인데요. 저 오늘 재미있으셨어요?
예, 즐거웠어요.
저 그럼 내일 또 만날 수 있어요?
왜요? 또 만나고 싶어요?
네, 저 내일은 그럼 어디 갈까요?
63빌딩
그 오랫동안 우리 만났어 서로의 마음속에 들어갈수록 들어가서 들여다볼수록 점점 더 빠져들었어 이제 들킬 수가 없어 호기심을 좋아하는 걸 사랑을 향해 다가가고 있어 이제는 때가 됐다 생각이 들었어 카페에서 마주보고 앉아있다가 일어나서 그녀에게 다가가 우리 이제 이렇게 앉자며 옆에 앉았어 자연스럽게 그녀의 가는 어깨 위에 살며시 팔을 올리려고 하는데 그녀가 먼저 살며시 내게 기댔어 우와 밤에 흐르는 눈물 좋아 그럼 용기를 내서 뽀뽀를 해보기로 마음을 먹고 눈을 맞추며 조금씩 다가가는데
박진영씨 사인 좀 해주시겠어요?
그래서 날 모든 걸 잊고 깨끗이 마음을 비우고 카페 문을 열고 집에 가려고 엘리베이터를 탔는데 무슨 생각해?
너랑 같은 생각
무슨 생각인데?
엘리베이터 안에 너랑 나밖에 없다는 거
엘리베이터 안에서 우리 사랑을 나누지 그 누구도 모르게 비밀스러운 사랑을 엘리베이터 안에서 우리 사랑을 나누지 지하에서 위층까지 벨이 울릴 때까지 엘리베이터 안에서 우리 사랑을 나누지 그 누구도 모르게 비밀스러운 사랑을 엘리베이터 안에서
It is time for Cultural Interlude. Normally we have Michael here, but he's away. And so we have Jordan here instead. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Can you give our listeners, our audience, just a little bit a peek into who you are?
My name is Jordan Brown. I'm an actor, improviser, director, translator, freelancer.
So many slashes. Slash this.
I don't know what I am, but I live here in Gwangali Beach, and I just love it so much.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today I thought I would bring something near and dear to my heart, improv.
Oh.
Improv is a shortened form of the word improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
In Korean, I guess that would mean like jukung.
Yes.
Musicians can improvise by creating a song on the spot that they have never played before.
Right.
And actors can improvise by making a play that's never been done before, right in the moment.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for explaining the backdrop. And so in terms of what we're going to be zeroing in on, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about how this form, improv, that I personally really enjoy, has taught me so much about life in general and has really helped me improve my personal communications on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
And that's because in improv, there's one key rule that you have to do. First of all, you can't do it alone.
Okay.
So we need to work together as a team on stage, multiple people. And when you're trying to create a story together, if I say something and the person standing across from me, let's say we're doing a scene together.
Right.
And if I say something and you immediately kind of disregard what I say, then we can't build anything together.
Okay.
It's just going to stay in one spot.
Got it.
Which isn't very fun.
Right.
And so the key concept of improv is yes and. And
yes
Korean,
and.
Yeah, in Korean we say 맞다, 그리고. And what this means is when we practice, every time you say something, the first thought that goes to my head has to be yes and. Oh, 맞다. Because I need to take in what you've said, make it a part of how I feel, and then add to it with 그리고. And.
Okay, so the first part is yes and. That should be at the forefront.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that's the key concept. And that's actually the concept that really has the most profound impact in daily life. And I'll explain a little bit why with some examples.
Sure.
So in daily life, when someone says, hey, let's go to a cafe this weekend, my first thought is usually no. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Not because we don't like the person.
Yes.
And not because we don't like cafes. But just in general, we like staying in predictability.
Okay.
And if I always have plans ahead of time. And my first response is to say, no, guard my status quo, my plans. And then maybe I can be like, I'll change my mind later.
Oh, okay.
But instead of having that first no response, if I had a response of inquisitiveness, of curiosity, of excitement, I don't have to commit to doing anything, but I can start with yes.
Okay.
And so in that situation, this weekend, I have a lot of appointments that day. And so when I hear that you want to go to a cafe, I'm a little bit hesitant to say yes because I'm pretty busy. But instead of saying no, I could just say, wow, that would be really fun.
Okay.
So I'm affirming you with a yes, basically. But I'm not committing to anything yet. And then I'm saying, I'm adding to it.
Okay, what are you adding?
I'm saying, I'm really busy this weekend.
Okay.
So there's two things that are true right now. That cafe would be really fun.
It would be in theory.
And I'm really busy.
Right.
So,
but they can coexist, those two ideas, right?
Yeah. Your idea and my idea can coexist. And then by sharing them, then we can come up with like a solution that kind of works for both of them.
Oh.
And so maybe not all of your idea, maybe not all of my idea, but maybe we can compromise.
Yes, maybe you could go on another night.
Yeah.
Suggesting, oh, that sounds great. I would love to. But, I have too much on my plate today.
Yep.
So what about Tuesday or a different day or something else, right?
That's one possible solution.
Okay.
Another possible solution would be, I do have some time, but it's just not a lot. So maybe we can pick a cafe that's close to my work.
Oh, okay.
So I can sneak out for a little bit and we can have a little meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's one example. Another example at work. A lot of people have meetings and they're posing ideas to each other.
Yes.
And someone says, oh, let's do this project. But when I hear that, I say, whoa, that's a big project.
Yes.
That's complicated. That's going to be a lot of work for us. So my first reaction in my heart is kind of no.
In my heart, it's a no.
No, my heart says no. But because of this yes and principle that I'm trying to apply to my life, I am trying to suppress that no, so it's not my first response. My first response, inquisitiveness, curiosity.
Okay.
Yes. So I hear that complicated, scary project idea, and I think, yes, that is a cool project. I can't deny if that happened, that would be really, really cool. And I'm really intimidated by the size of this project. So maybe we could figure out a different approach. Maybe we could just do the first part of that project and just see how that goes. And then if it's going well, maybe we can do the next step. And so we're compromising that way.
Or maybe if it's such a huge project, maybe to break it down, suggest breaking it down into smaller, I guess, parts of the project, as you say, like maybe do part one and go from there. And if it's okay, manageable, then phase two.
Yeah.
Right?
Small bites at a time.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the concept of yes and improv, and it's very important. Another concept, which is kind of in the same breath, is just supporting each other.
Yes.
At all costs.
Right.
And we say, I got your back. It's kind of a common thing improvisers say before they go on stage.
Right.
They say, I got your back. In English, we say, I got your back. I do a Korean show here in Gwangali, and we say...
What do you say in Korean?
We came up with this Konglish thing.
Okay, Konglish.
We
Let's
used to have it, the Korean version we used to say was, 나는 너를 돋보이게 할 거야.
돋보이게 할 거야.
But it was a little bit long and wordy.
Yeah.
And as time came, we came up with a new one, which is IGGU.
IGGU?
Like Gigi is like
Gigi support you.
Like Gigi hada support. And so now before every performance, all the actors come together, they put their hands in and they say, IGGU. And because sometimes when you're performing, you literally have your mind goes white. You don't know what to do next.
Sure.
And at those times, you always need the person standing with you to come up with an idea, to kind of tell you what you can be saying and help you out. It really, really helps, and you absolutely need it. And so this concept of, if I make you look good, I look good.
That's true.
And when you watch an improv show, it's very easy to tell who the really good improvisers are.
Yes.
Because they are always making everyone else look good. And by doing that, you see how smart they are. You see how talented they are.
Sure.
And so we can totally apply this to everyday life at work. And just as we go about our business. And so if I'm able to make you look good, in a very short time, then it actually makes me look good.
Right.
Because I'm able to take care of my business and help you with yours.
And even going back to the whole the yes and concept, right? In Korean culture, it's difficult to say like a hard no, especially at work. Like 싫은데요? 안 할 건데요? I'm not going to do that. Like that kind of attitude. Like, okay, yes. And can we add to this? Can we revise it a little?
Yeah.
Can we fine tune? So that's definitely a good way to go about whether it's at your workplace or just in your personal life, right?
Yeah. And I would say because of that culture, Koreans are pretty good at yes-anding a lot of times.
Yes.
I would say no doesn't really come up in Korean conversation, but what does happen often in Korean conversation is the word but. 근데.
하지만.
And if you listen to people at a cafe as you walk down the street today, try and count how many times the sentence starts with 근데. 근데 means I have... Oh, that's great, but I actually have a reservation about this.
Yes.
There's something I don't really love about this.
Yes.
And so that word kind of ends up being a no.
Yeah. Well, we have a user, the person's username is user, says IGGBFM. So, thank you. That's so sweet.
Cute.
You're using it already.
Wow.
So. Thank you, Jordan, for coming in today, filling in for Michael, and giving us this whole yes and. So today, as we go about our days, maybe kind of hone in on, can we kind of incorporate that into our lives, maybe? Yes?
That would be great. And if anyone has a good case study today of using yes and or IGGU, I guess write to us and let us know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All right, everybody. This was Jordan for Cultural Interlude. It is time to say goodbye already for our Thursday morning. So here's our final song for today. This is Euphoria by BTS. Enjoy. Join us again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
너는 내 삶에 다시 뜬 햇빛 어린 시절 내 꿈들의 재림 모르겠어 이 감정이 뭔지 혹시 여기도 꿈속인 건지 꿈은 사막의 푸른 신기루 내 깊은 곳에 아프리오리 숨이 막힐 듯이 행복해져 주변이 점점 더 투명해져 저기 멀리서 바다가 들려 꿈을 건너서 숲을 넘어라 선명해지는 그곳으로 가 Take my hands now You are the cause of my euphoria Take my hands now You are the cause of my euphoria Close that door now When I'm with you I'm in utopia 지워진 꿈을 찾아 헤맸을까 운명 같은 하나만은 달라 아까 너의 눈빛이 나와 같은 곳을 보는 걸 When you please stay in dreams yeah. 저기 멀리서 바다가 들려 꿈을 건너서 숲을 넘어라 선명해지는 그곳으로 가 Take my hands now You are the cause 숲을 넘어